Hi everybody, I am going to try and get a video done today that I wanted to do on Thursday. Um, Part of my channel is talking about health issues, and okay, I'm having trouble getting started, but it's okay. It's part of my health issues. Um, I wanted to do this Thursday evening, make a short video and talk about my physical therapy journey. But I was thinking about it and I had scriptures come to mind because on Thursday when I had PT, I was kind of having many meltdowns. I have surgery coming up soon and then another one as soon as possible after that. So many meltdowns are going to be normal for the next few weeks. But I was thinking about walking and how I'm really limited in how far I can walk. And so I wanted to combine the two topics because they go together, and needed to do some research on some scripture I wanted to use. So Thursday night it just didn't happen, and my fatigue and everything was a big part of that. And then Friday and Saturday, the heat and the fatigue also is a factor in not doing the video. I'm very heat sensitive, and it's too early in the year to be heat sensitive. Yesterday we reached 97, and today I woke up to 63. Right now it's 55 with a wind chill of 50 and wind gusts, so it's kind of cold outside, so not doing anything outside today. So it's a good day to get this video done. It may be in two parts. I don't know. I don't know how to okay. In case you don't know, I do have speech issues and I lose words sometimes. So the video may be longer than what I planned. And if it has to be in two parts, it has to be in two parts. What I am going to do is crochet while I talk, and so I'm going to switch the camera around because I know people crochet on the video. So since I have a baby blanket I want to get finished today, I will see if I can do that on camera. So let me do that. Okay, I think I'm gonna try this and see if this works. Just go with it, right? I have this blanket and a couple more I want to start and finish before my first surgery, April 30th, and I'm just gonna say up front before I forget, I do have made a Walmart and Amazon wish list that is on my channel page that a friend suggested I do. So, and I have a video explaining why I have what I have on my list. So any help with that would be appreciated. So my okay, trying to get situated here. It's kind of weird crocheting on camera, so it's the first time I've done this, so hopefully it's not a day where I forget how to do it. My PT journey began in the spring of 1999, and now it's the spring of 2026 and I'm still in PT. Um, so I'll probably be PT for something or other, like forever. Um, I had a seasonal job at a nursery, the kind, um, I was planting seedlings and all of that. Um, it was full time, and there was a lot of standing up involved. And at some point, my left leg gave out on me, which I had never had issues, so that was a surprise. Um, Went to the doctor, of course. They started me in physical therapy, and I had to move to part time and only do jobs that were sitting down. Um, and I didn't even make it through the whole season because of my left leg. So that was my first experience with physical therapy, and I thought it was going to be my only experience. It turned out that didn't happen. Um, I was in PT at least once a year, every year for several months. Um, at some point, therapy. At some point, surgery was suggested, but insurance kept saying no and kept saying, just go to PT. It's like, well, all the other times I've tried it, it didn't work. But you just gotta go do that or not. I learned a lot. Got started getting injections at some point, and then at another point in time, I was in graduate school, and I started having problems with my left arm and shoulder, and wound up with injections and physical therapy for that. So all my limbs have had their chance to have PT. And I have a whole lot of other chronic health issues that also require physical therapy. So there's so many different parts of my body to choose from when I go in per a session, as to what we're going to work on and do. So anyway, I did the shoulder. I had rotator cuff surgery at some point. Don't recommend. It's the most painful out of all the surgeries I've ever had. And let me just say here that I don't do pain medication, not because of addictions or anything, but because I'm allergic to a lot of the meds. And where pain medication makes me not sleep, let's just say it makes me manic, I guess. So when you're supposed to rest, sleep, hopefully that doesn't happen with my body. And I do all my surgeries with extra strength Tylenol, ice, and I eventually get through it, but there's always a few weeks that are just not fun, I guess. So if you're one of those that just rides it out with the pain like I do, feel free to put that in the comments and let me know how you handle it. So let's see, how do I connect these two? One of the things with having knee issues is also becoming a fall risk, because never knowing when my leg was going to go out on me. And over the years, walking very limited. Part of that is I also have balance issues, and I've had balance issues my whole life, so nothing new, they've just gotten worse. And so fall risk could be because my leg gives out on me, or it's some balance thing. So if y'all saw my live a few weeks ago where I fell out of the chair, so I guess falling out of chairs is not, I mean, sitting in chairs is not safe either. And that was a right shoulder thing. I had a whole lot of pain and I was reaching for something, my water, I think, and I ended up falling. So I guess none of my limbs are really safe from that. But so walking, I was thinking about walking last Thursday. With my first knee surgery in October 2023, I had all these high hopes and goals of being able to walk a trail. We have so many trails around here, so many lakes. With the Conza Prairie, which I've never been able to walk or anything. So many things I'd like to do, and it's always been limited. And before anybody says anything about age related, my stuff isn't age related. I've had issues my entire life, and I'm only now, in the last few years, actually being diagnosed with the stuff I've had all my life. So I've had issues with my legs and walking since I was in my 30s. And I used to do a lot of walking. So that's really hard on me not to be able to just get in the car and go somewhere and get out for a walk. So fast forward to the beginning of 2012. I had an injection before I moved to California for a couple of years, and I worked at a homeless shelter. Story for another day. But anyway, I got up one day and my leg just went out on me completely. It was the worst pain I've ever had in my leg. Even worse than after surgery with no pain meds. It was bad. Tried to get me into PT, but there were different issues with that, so that didn't happen. But I did end up in a wheelchair for almost 9 months, well, until I moved back here, and learned a whole lot about all the things that are supposed to be accessible but that are not, and also the way you get treated. I was still able to do the job that I had, so a little difficult, but I still did it. I think that being in the wheelchair for that long gave my knee some time to heal, recuperate, because I moved back here after a couple years and moved in with my daughter and took care of 4 kids. Being the other parent in the home and all the things for kids of different ages do all their activities and all of that. I did at one point fall coming out of a grocery store, and thankfully my doctor was just a block away, and I had an injection and started PT a few times, but then I was going to move back here. This was in 2018, May of 2018. I moved here in with my mom, and I had already made an appointment with my ortho doctor for that. I had made an appointment with all my doctors to get in right away here, and same doctors that I had before I had left on my little journey away from the town I'm currently in. And that's the wind. So if you hear things, it's the wind hitting the window well covers. Okay, where was I? Oh, I came back here and I saw my ortho doctor almost right away, and he said, okay, we're doing surgery. And I had a torn meniscus for many, many years. I don't even know how long. And so I don't know why insurance didn't approve that years before, but they just did. So I went in and had that surgery, and that changed things up for me. Did the PT just a few weeks, I think, maybe 5 or 6 weeks after that surgery. I went to a women's weekend. It's not a retreat. It's called Women's Encounter, where you encounter God for the weekend. That's a whole nother story right there. But I had the walker with me because I had to use it. Still had my knee was wrapped up. I can't remember if I had my knee brace on or not. So I'm also going to talk about faith. I should have mentioned this at the very beginning. Maybe I did. I don't know. But I have a very strong faith. And so one of the Saturday night of that weekend, it was prayer time, and I had some other things that I wanted prayed about. I didn't ask for any prayer for my knee, because I just had surgery, thinking that was fixing the problem, and I knew that it was in the process of healing. So I didn't have prayer for that, because to me that was already covered. Well, as they were praying for the other things that I asked for prayer for, I felt my leg getting so hot. And I asked someone to please take off the brace, oh gosh, what's the, ace bandage, right? Because my leg felt like it was on fire. It was just so hot. And anyway, they were done praying. It was after midnight, and I wanted to go back to my room, which was in another building. I decided to tell the person I was with I was just going to walk back and not wait for the shuttle ride. And I walked back, just kind of pushing my walker. And people who saw that were kind of surprised, as was I. And we got to our dorm, and I went in. I was on the first floor, of course, because I really couldn't do stairs. Even here in the basement, it was difficult moving in, doing stairs. I've always had problems with stairs for many, many years and tried to avoid them because I hadn't been able to do stairs the right way for over 20 years. I just had to put one foot up and then the other foot next to it. I don't know how to explain, but if you have problems with stairs, you know what I mean. So I looked at my friend and I said, I'm gonna walk up these stairs. And I didn't know where that was coming from. And I'm thinking, this is crazy. we haven't really worked on that a whole lot in PT, and how can I have trouble going up the stairs here, how can I do that? But I didn't have my cane because I was using a walker that weekend. But I stood in the middle of the stairs. I'm probably gonna cry. And for the first time in 20 years, I walked up to the second floor of any building without holding on to anything, no cane, no railing, and I walked up the correct way with no pain, no issues. I was just walking up and down the stairs. Eventually, there were other people there filming and taking pictures, and I knew that while I was having other things prayed for, God had healed the surgery, had healed this knee, and I went back to the women that had prayed for me. I was like, look what I can do. And so um, that was just an amazing thing. Went back to PT when I got back, and I didn't tell my PT what had happened. It's just like, hey, let's go work on the stairs. And just went over there, and it's like, here, this is all I can do. And just walked up and down the PT stairs without an issue. It was really amazing. And so that lasted for a while. It was nice. Still wasn't able to walk around much a whole lot, but I didn't realize there were other issues, that the meniscus tear was like the least of the thing, and I wound up back in PT pretty much every year. I don't think 2020, I know I tried PT in 2020, but I couldn't wear the mask. The anxiety issues, trying to breathe, trying to exercise, all that, I wasn't able to do it. So I think that's the only year that I did not have PT. It's pretty much been a yearly thing, except for the short time that I was gone in 2020. But then I was back to going up the stairs the way I'd done it for decades. My leg giving out on me more, pain, all of that. And then in July, I knew I could call my ortho doctor anytime I wanted an injection. And I called in July of 2023 and asked if I could have an injection. I went in and I had one, and a month later, there wasn't any improvement at all. I was in worse pain, worse issues than I had been in before the injection. I remember it was a Monday morning, and I called the nurse, the ortho nurse, and said, this is what's going on. The injection hasn't kicked in. And the nurse called that afternoon and it said, you're scheduled for surgery. And she gave me a date, and I said, I have, because I was working at the time online, and I'll talk about that job another time. And I said I had some things I had to do, already committed to. So they set my surgery for October 31st, Halloween, 2023. So I really didn't know how to prepare for that, didn't know what I needed. I know what I need now to make life easier, and again, those things are in the wish list, which I do need help in getting the things that I need, and some of the things that I want, but the video about my wish list explains all that. And actually, it's really difficult for me to sit cross-legged like right now, like I am. It took some effort to make my legs go this way because my knee is kind of swollen. My supposedly good left knee that had surgery still has issues, but um, those illnesses are for another video, another day. Um, where was I going? Oh, so they said I was having surgery on Halloween, so went, had surgery. Surgery doesn't bother me. Uh, I refused a spinal. I don't like Versed because I don't like what I don't like waking up all drugged and nauseous and everything. So like an hour after I was recovering, I made myself a protein shake because I took everything to do that. And just PT. I do PT for a few minutes and take a break, then start all over and do it again and stop and do it again. And here we are again. I think I started this go round. I don't remember what for. I do have other issues, neurology issues that require physical therapy. I have a lot of different health issues that physical therapy helps with. So, but the beginning of February, that first Monday or whatever, I went in for a follow-up with my ortho, looked up my x-rays. My right leg did look good, and I had been having pain and my right leg going out more and more, and it looked like it needed surgery. So she gave me an injection and surgery in 90 days, which is April 30th. So that's happening. And then I mentioned I had rotator cuff on my left years ago. That was in 2009, and I had dealt with that for a year before I had surgery. And ever since then, I've had problems with my right arm, and I had an injection in my right shoulder, like in 2010, I think, and physical therapy for that. And so every so often, have issues with my right arm, and that had been happening more and more over the years. But every time I made an appointment to go have that looked at, then something with my knee would happen, like surgery, and so it didn't ever get looked at. And with this surgery coming up and knowing I needed the use of both arms to help, get me around, I made an appointment. And plus, a couple weeks earlier, I had done something, reached for something. Actually, I was using one of the exercise machines for OT, and I just had this pain go through from my shoulder to my elbow, and I have not been pain-free in my right arm since then. Some days are better, some days are not. I do have a sling that I wear off and on throughout the day, or when I remember when I leave the house to put it on, just so I don't use my arm. And actually, crocheting does cause some pain because it twists, whatever, I don't know. Anyway, so the beginning of March, that first Monday, I had an MRI for my knee, and then I had an appointment in the afternoon to look at my arm. And that was a surprise to me when the doctor came in. I looked at the x-rays, and even I knew there was something really messed up with my shoulder. So I was expecting rotator cuff surgery at some point in time. It's a shoulder replacement, and I didn't see that one coming. So I'm having my right knee replaced and my right shoulder replaced, and I'm right-handed. So everything's, my right side has decided to be the crappy side, where my left side has always been, and it's still quite not all fully healed. And so now we got my right side. So yes, my anxiety is a little high, and so many meltdowns, and yes, that will be increasing as the weeks go forth. Normal stuff, you know. I wasn't expecting one surgery, and now I'm having two. As soon as I'm recovered enough from my right surgery, my right knee replacement, then I will have the shoulder replacement. So that's what the rest of 2026 is for me, is surgeries, either being pre-op or post-op. And just like, I don't have any more limbs that can be operated on or replaced, so I guess technically my left one could be, hopefully it will come to that. And my daughter one day is like, Mom, you still have hips. It's like, just don't give my hips any ideas. Anyway, so how I have some scriptures that came to mind Thursday night. So anyway, that's my PT journey, but I'll talk more about PT in a minute, because throughout all this, I do trust God that with all of this, with the surgeries, having a different ortho than I've had. I haven't had any surgeries with this one. I've always had my surgeries in the surgical center, but for some reason it's in the hospital this time, and I've not had any surgeries in the hospital, not this hospital, so I don't know what to expect. And then my PT clinic that I've gone to since 1999 switched places, you know, a week ago, and so this last week was in a new location. I know everybody is stressed out about that, staff and patient clients and everything, because it's changed. So a lot of new and different things with these surgeries. I do trust God. I do have faith and believe and know that all the things that I need and the things that I want, that will help with recovery, and will be provided. And because I'm planning, my wish lists are for 2 surgeries. I'm planning for the rest of 2026, in the next few weeks before April 30th, as much as possible, and to get my room the way I want. And yes, I will be still downstairs because that's where I live. I have a walker, not a rollator. I have a walker downstairs to use. I have a walker upstairs, so that there's no, like, how do I get the walker upstairs? So anyway, the faith part of it. Scriptures that came to my mind about walking, that's what I was doing Thursday night, was looking up scriptures about walking, because for me, the biggest thing is being able to walk a trail. I thought I would be able to walk a trail by my 1-year knee replacement date. Yeah, I still can't meet the can you walk 2 blocks on the assessments, which, so I haven't been able to do that in years. So it was kind of very disappointing and frustrating that I'm still not able to do that. And so that was really struggled with that this week. Not being able to walk any trails, and that had been a goal. It's still a goal. And so that's just a whole trust God that hopefully I'll be able to do that sooner than later. Some of that is also balance issues because I have to have someone with me, even if my knees were fine, because I'm a fall risk. Not because some body part goes out on me, but because of my other health issues. So, one of the first things that came to my mind Thursday night when I was thinking, I want to do this video, and it's a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but it's fine. You'll either listen or not. It's okay. But the song is an old song, Walking in the Spirit, and I did a video, a short with that and some of my favorite pictures I've taken. So, but I looked up other scriptures that seemed to fit me and my situation about walking and PT. So one of them is 1 Corinthians 6:19 and 20, and I did make sure I wrote all the scriptures down before I started the video and not forget to do it halfway through. But anyway, do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit within you, which you have from God? You are not your own. You were bought with a price. So glorify God in your body. I work really hard in whatever kind of therapy I'm in. So that's what this verse means to me, is that just to work as hard as I can to keep it healthy, to keep it going, whether it means surgery, physical therapy. I do how can I even say it? Occupational therapy. I have done speech therapy, but still have a speech therapist. I'm just not meeting with her right now, but I do have a lot of worksheets to work on that I asked for as needed. And I do have speech issues, but I do all the things that I can, and I do have my mental health therapist. So I'm in some kind of therapy 5 days a week, five times a week. So that's because I work hard on trying to keep my body as healthy as it can be. Some days they do suck, but I know a lot of you have chronic illnesses, multiple chronic illnesses, rare chronic illnesses. You all know what I'm talking about. You do the best you can, and sometimes you have to figure out, if I do this for my mental health, like when I go for my drives, I know it's also going to have an impact on my physical health. Not in a good way, but in a bad way. And if I do these things for my physical health, how's it going to affect my mental? So it's always a back and forth. One of the verses that I'm believing in for as a goal, I believe that I will be able to walk a trail at some point, or just walk more than a couple blocks, period, is Proverbs 4:12. When you walk, your steps will not be hampered. When you run, you will not stumble. And that up there goes up to my favorite verse, which I quote a lot, is Isaiah 40:30. Um, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not be faint. The part that I look at a lot is they will walk and not be faint. And for me, that means I will walk without some part of my body wanting to give out on me. Um, I'll just be able to walk. Even if it's with a mobility device, it's fine. Just as long as, it's not a balance issue. It's not a limb issue or something, but I'll be able to walk without those physical things happening. Now why do I have this one? So this one stuck out as me as well. Romans 6:4. We were buried therefore with him by baptism into death, so that as Christ was raised from the dead by the glory of the Father, we too might walk in newness of life. And again, that applies to the surgeries on just walking, what I've already said. Being able to have 2 sets of new knees, be able to walk somewhere. But I do trust God and believe that at some point in time that will happen. And then 2 Corinthians 5:7 is for we walk by faith and not by sight. That's what I'm doing right now. Putting my hands once again, I should say knees, with a surgeon, and that God's going to give them everything they need to do what they need for the knee replacement and the shoulder replacement. And then that I'll be able to do the recovery part, the physical therapy, and I'm not putting any timeline on it like I did the first time around, but at some point be able to walk, even if it means with another person, further distance than what I can do now. And so that's a walking by faith, not just spiritually and mentally, but physically as well. So those are just a few of the scriptures that came to my mind. If you have any more that you use, then put them in the comments, and please be nice. I 100% believe in healing. I've had that happen, as I explained. Sometimes our healings are slow. Sometimes the answer is no. But we're all healed when we get to heaven. And I said yes many, many years ago that if God could use whatever health issues I have to bring other people closer to Him, then by all means go ahead and use those. So, and that happens. It's always about one person getting what they need, resources or whatever. Then that's okay. Just, I'd like to have a good hour now and then. A good day would be great, but some energy now and then, those kind of things, and just to be sure that I have all the things that I need to get me through each day, and now with the surgeries and stuff. So I'm almost done here. I'm hoping that I made sense and explained things about my physical therapy journey. And now I'm not going to call out any therapist, one, because I don't know her channel name. But one of the things that was really hard the first time, with the first knee surgery, is I had seen the same physical therapist like for years and years and years through everything. And when I went to see her before my left knee surgery, turned out she was retiring. That kind of really hit me hard, because I thought she was going to be the one to help me through that recovery. So that was hard, and I was introduced to another PT, and it's like, okay, so this is who I will be doing my recovery with. Well, that was only what 2 or 3 times, and I went in one day and I was like, here's this person who is your physical therapist now. Didn't see that coming, wasn't told to me like the session before, so had a little issue with that. um but now that person that uh she's now been my physical therapist for however long, through all of it, all the different issues, and I wouldn't trade her for anyone else. But she makes me laugh, and even on my bad days, even on the days where I'm in a lot of pain, and she works hard to uh, work on the trigger points. Um, and I'll have maybe a good day, like as far as moving around a little bit easier, which I was able to do Friday. Um, not today, but Friday. Um, or just whatever. I can talk to her about anything, not just physical health related stuff, but anything. And that first video I made February 18th, go back and watch that if you can. But I had talked about having a new birthday for myself, and she was a part of that. But I just really appreciate her so much and everything that she's done. And I know with all my issues, she'll probably be my physical therapist the rest of my life. So, which is fine if that's what it takes to get through life. But I really appreciate her, and thank you if you watch this and made it this far. And then even with the move over to this new building, I know it's a new thing for all of us, the staff and everyone. So just helping me get through this last week with that. And being available at any time. I can email her at any time about anything I have questions about, anything like that. So I just feel like God placed her in my life. Like the first day I didn't like it, but I'm very thankful that that happened. And I know that she knows that after surgery I might not be such a great patient for a while because of the pain, and also knows that the next few weeks before the surgery my anxiety and stress will be a little high, but I know she'll be there. So if you listen to this, if you hear this, just know how much I appreciate you and thank you for all that you do. So it's time to end this. Didn't even get a round done. So I'm going to finish this today. And if you made it this far, thank you. And like put your stories, about your own physical therapy, if you've had it, all those kind of things. Put them in the comments. Things that work for you, things that did, and if you had knee replacements or shoulder replacements, like the things that worked for you. It's always good to know a little bit more from people who've been through it. Because there might be something new, a coping skill you haven't tried. But have I don't know where I was going, but we'll just go ahead and end the video. And thank you for making it this far, if you did, and thank you for helping me get to where. Right, let's see. I don't know if I can make this go up while I'm on here. Let's try and do it. I'm kind of new to using this tripod and having the camera actually go where I want it to go. Oh, that works. Okay, so thank you for listening to me, and I am gonna go upstairs for a moment. Last time I looked, the squirrel picnic table have been blowing away a little bit, so I want to bring that in. And brave the cold and the wind to give them some food that will blow away. But thank you for helping me get to where I'm at. I'm at 586 subscribers, which is kind of overwhelming. And I need watch hours, people. I have views. I have a whole lot of those, but I need watch hours. And again, I'm going to mention the wish list, Amazon and Walmart. And if you could help me out with anything to help me out with these surgeries and feeding my mini zoo, that would be really, really appreciated. So thank you, everyone, and do all the YouTube things. And it's not gonna go out.